Well, bam. What's up, bikers? I'm Robert, and this is the B1KER Bar Podcast live stream. I think I have the intro dialed now because I was thinking to myself originally, I was like, I can't say what's up, B1KER Bar, and then say this is the B1KER Bar Podcast. So what's up, bikers? Unless I come up with some other name for you guys other than bitches, because that's what I usually say on my like Instagram stuff. What's up, bitches? So I figured that was probably not appropriate. So I'll work on a better intro. Unless you guys think that's a good one, sweet. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. Unfortunately, it's been raining for like the first time in or I don't know, for like the first time in I don't even know how long. It's just been raining and raining and raining. And apparently I have been lazy and doing too much riding bikes and did not clear the leaves out of my gutter, which then started pouring water into this background, and those electrical outlets that are behind me, probably not a good mix. So that was the reason that happened. Little tidbit of biker laziness information. The one thing I do want to ask you guys is if you are on Instagram or you're on Facebook, go by the B1KER page and give it a follow. You get some extra content for free. It's just like me posting pictures of my rides and different things that's going on. If I'm going to do like some kind of like giveaway kind of thing, it's probably going to be on Instagram or Facebook. I don't normally like do those like creator or the posts on YouTube. So anyways, go give that a follow. I am trying to see Facebook actually hit 1,000 followers, and it's at like 900 something. And I don't remember why I wanted 1,000 on Facebook, but it sounds like a really good idea. So we should probably do that. So if you guys are on there, give it a follow. Don't follow both because it's the exact same content on both of them. So, I mean, you could follow them both if you want to see it 2 times. That's fine with me. Anyways, those of you guys listening to this as a podcast, if you haven't written a 5-star review yet, you should go over there and do that. I like reading them. It's really fun. If you think it's like this is a 4-star podcast, don't waste your time. It's not really worth it. So anyways, here we go. This is episode 101. That's 101 times of me sitting out here in the garage entertaining you guys for free. So that's pretty rad. If you want to make it not free, you could swing by Patreon and drop me a $1 tip, $1 a month, $12 a year. I mean, that's barely 2 beers. So you could buy me 2 beers in 1 year for $1, and you can get discount codes for some of the people that I've worked with in the past or I had on the show. So there's a bunch of discounts on there, or you could go for $5 a month and get a sticker pack, handwritten letter, or you could go for the Uber merch box and just really like put some serious beer in the fridge, maybe even buy a bike part or 2. So that would be rad if you could do that. Otherwise, let's get on with the show here. Episode 101. Oh man, I almost hit remove instead of adding this guy. That would have been bad. So anyways, we got James, right?
Yep, that's right.
Right on. I'm glad that I just pulled that one out because I am so bad with names, and I was like, oh god, I panicked for like a split second before I said it. So
this dude works too. You know.
Yeah, right. I am really good. I don't know. I'm really good at all those like kind of like casual names like dude or chief or hey man, or like I can carry on conversations with people for weeks without knowing their name.
It gets hard sometimes when you know, especially you're like, oh man, I don't know. I know we've met, but
right.
Yeah, dude.
I'm super good with faces though, man. I'll recognize people. I'll be like, oh yeah, that guy was standing behind me in line at the grocery store like 2 weeks ago. Right. But I can meet somebody in like 7 seconds, forget their name, like completely. Yeah. Like even when I'm trying.
Yeah, we were just talking about that on a little group ride. We're like, okay, so what's your name again? It's like, damn it, why am I not better than, like right when he's introduced yourself and he says his name, just put it in your head. Jake. It's Jake. Remember right? Jake.
That's why I'm good with people that follow me on Instagram, because then I can remember their like
for handle.
Like it's just seeing stuff. That's what it really comes down to. Mm-hmm. So like I think if everybody wore name tags, I would remember everybody's name because like I have more of a photographic memory. So it's like I could see it and be like, oh, like I remember the people like when I meet them that were on Instagram or whatever. It's like I remember like their profile picture and then what their name is, or like if somebody's in my phone, that's like how I remember their name. I'm like, I can picture it like the contact.
I seen a dude up on the hill the other day, and he came up with one of those one-up, like little one wheel or the one wheel or whatever they're called.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been seeing those out on the trail.
Yeah, they look super cool. But I was like, dude, are you Shy Bellows? And he's like, what? I'm like, the Instagram person that I follow, like Shy Bellows. I see him all over.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm Josh.
Yeah, I'm just Josh.
I was like, okay, well, I thought maybe.
There was dude, let's start this podcast with whatever the fuck we feel like talking about, huh?
Oh yeah.
There was a guy, I was climbing up a local trail, and there was this guy I came up on, looked exactly like this dude I know. And I was like, Mike, how's it going, man? And he's like, oh, dude, how's it going? He starts talking to me, and we're talking for a couple of minutes, and he's like, casual shit, like, how's your ride? Oh, this is where I'm going. And then he's like, where do I know you from? And I was like, oh, you're from the suspension place, right? And he's like, no, not at all. And I was like, your name's Mike. And he's like, yeah, it is Mike, actually. But
how convenient.
Yeah. It was like one of those moments where you're like, the Matrix is fucking with me right now.
Yeah. Like, have I been not logging things correctly?
Right. Yeah, it was like such a weird thing. It was like, looked like him and the same name. And yeah, that was just really funny.
Times are getting a little bit weird. Like, I was up in Marquette and bullshit and having a good, like, in line waiting for a beer at Black Rocks. And me and this guy were having a fun conversation of like, who's going to just jump in line and not say anything. You get those kind of people who are kind of oblivious, walk in and like there's 20.
Yeah.
And then they just walk in and they're right there.
Yeah.
Trying to observe this, talk about it for like 5 minutes. And then the next day we're like, hey, oh no, that was you. Like, I follow you on Instagram and we communicate on Instagram, but never met each other.
Oh, that's funny.
Just like my people, I suppose.
So the reason that you're on here is you make Morrow Packs. Can you tell me about what Morrow Packs is?
Morrow Packs are some bags I stitch up on my old Singer sewing machine for Walmart, and started doing it because I wanted bags for my bikes. Ultimately, me and my brother-in-law, got into gravel riding and a little bit of bike packing, nothing major, but we're like, all you can get is, what was easy to get was like Blackburn and welded seam stuff, and everybody's kind of got the same packs and stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but they're just, we got like, there's such cool bikes out there, and you just want your own little feel on them. You know what I mean? Just customize, really.
So they're custom, basically. That's how you're making them?
Oh yeah. Yep. Just one at a time, just however I feel. And that's what I was doing right off the bat. Was I wanted a bag for my gravel bike, and then that one, the Remedy, just because it had spots to be able to mount like a bag up underneath that top tube. Well, that's just like wasted space, and I'm always carrying flat kits, on my back because I couldn't put them underneath the seat because they would rub if you're, if your dropper was all the way down, and yeah. So I think the first one I made was for my fat bike. My fat bike is cool because you're always like bringing tons of stuff out there, food, and you're trying to keep things warm. So like water, you just can't keep out in a cage because it'll freeze on you.
Where are you at? Where are you located?
Upper Peninsula in Iron Mountain, Michigan. So we're like an hour and a half north of Green Bay.
Oh, okay. So you're definitely gets real cold there then, huh?
Yeah. We kind of have like similar. We're in like a little belt up here. We have similar climate as like lower Michigan and stuff like that. So the summers are pretty good. I mean, they're hot. They're not very long. You're looking like April, like April, May, I'd say. Like May starts, if you own a boat, you're probably going boating in like May, June, and then quitting a ride, or early September for sure at the latest. So, and the winters are warm.
So basically you're like, oh, I want something that's like fits my bike like perfectly and like utilizes the space that I want. And you want something that's like just looks cool instead of like black.
The cool was like because you can buy bags. And then the other thing was, so I got a hold of like a couple custom bag builders, like Rogue Panda. There was a couple other that I just asked, like, hey, what would it take to get a bag built, and it was basically me making a template for them out of like cardboard and sending it to them. Rogue Panda had a different approach to that. They use like a projector. So I kind of adopted that. So you'll send me a picture with a tape measure in front of your bike frame area that you want it in, and then I'll project it out to a piece of cardboard and put a tape measure and meet your tape measure to scale. And then I have your frame size and angles and stuff, and then I have a template basically for whatever bike.
So you do it all through just pictures?
That's
pretty rad.
Yeah, that was, like I said, I mean, going to flood the market with ideas now, but I took that from Rogue Panda, which they had on their YouTube page, how they did it. And I was like, well, that's the way to do it. I mean, just to get it perfect without having to, because there's so many bikes and they're always changing, and you have small, medium, large, and all these different little brackets where scaling it just off of a picture, as long as the photos right, like if it's down below, I've actually seen it just kind of skew it a little bit.
If somebody doesn't take it like straight on, it could really kind of change. That makes sense. So basically, did you like get this quote from them on like how much it would cost, and you were like, fuck that, I'm not paying that?
I was like $400 for a frame bag, and I was like, I get it, like, and I totally like believe in it, and I'm sure it's appropriate, but I had time this last winter, and I was like, I've always been somebody who just tries. I don't really care what it is. I'm an operator. Landscape, I can run equipment. I have a CDL. I can run a big rig, and I could probably figure out how to run a sewing machine. So,
that's, dude, I can't tell you how many things in my life that I have like went ahead and just did on my own because of the quote. What is this on the neck of my shirt? Oh, it's annoying the shit out of my OCD. Do you see that?
Yeah, it's a little white dot.
Oh yeah, there it goes. It's like a spider web or something from messing around here in the garage.
Halloween.
Yeah. Now it's fixed. Sorry, all of you guys that were on the podcast, you just don't know the how horrible that was for me to sit here and stare at. I couldn't focus on anything else.
That's awesome.
So what I was
saying, I didn't even notice it.
I can't tell you how many things I've like gone to get a quote for, and then they tell me how much it is, and I'm like, nope, not paying that. Guess I'm doing that now.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn that one.
Every time I've owned a few houses in my life now at this point, I don't know how many it is, but every time I've bought a house, you end up painting, right? And then every time I'm like, I am not painting my next house. I don't care what it costs. I'm paying somebody else to paint this freaking house. Next house, get in there, get a quote, dude. As soon as that quote comes, I'm already thinking I'm doing it before the dude even gave me the quote. Just walking around going, oh,
you can hammer it out, get it done.
Yeah. And as soon as I get the quote, I'm like, nope, there's no way I'm paying that.
No, because you'll probably still bitch about it too. You'd be like, see, I could have made that line straighter.
Yeah. I just there's only a few things where I'm like, yeah, I just don't want to do it. Like building wheels. I had one of my buddies that he owns Project 321. He's like, dude, I'm going to teach you how to build a wheel. We're going to like film it. You'll like have this really cool video on like how to build a wheel. And I did it for like 5 minutes. And I was like, dude, I never want to do this again in my life. I don't even care. Like if you're charging me double right now.
Is it just too repetitive?
It's just like I can't focus on it. It wasn't like interesting enough to me. It was, I don't know what it was like.
You're like, oh, this is the same thing. Oh, that's the same thing.
It just wasn't fun to me. It was like, I don't know. There's like, I don't know. Do you do all your own bike maintenance?
Minor. Yeah. It's hard to keep up, especially when you have multiples, right? Like, and I've been very fortunate to not have many issues with my bikes. So I haven't had to, in a bad way, learn how to work on many of them, but I definitely don't like pull my bottom brackets apart and clean them, like I should, or anything like that. I pretty much
do everything on my bike except for anything to do with suspension. Like, well, except for the dropper. I rebuilt my dropper a couple of times, but I have yet to break open a fork or a shock.
Yeah.
But
Nah, I probably have no business in there.
yeah, I feel like it's probably pretty easy. One of my buddies like keeps telling me it is, but it's like one of those things where I feel like I know how I work on bikes, and it usually involves beer. And I just have this like idea that suspension and beer is probably not like a good combination.
You show
Like
up the
there's
next day and you're like, where are all those O-rings?
yeah, or like the O-ring that I completely forgot to put back on, or you know what I mean? Like yeah, like the other day I rebuilt my pedals, and I was like, man, that guy on the video had these little O-rings. That's weird. Mine didn't have them on there. Maybe they updated the pedals. They don't have those anymore.
That's what they did.
Yeah, and then like a day later, I found one of those O-rings laying on the floor, and I was like, "Oh, I guess there was an O-ring." Well, that's weird. There was only one, and then like a day after that, I found the other one on the floor. I was like, "Son of a bitch!"
Yeah, not updated.
Right?
You updated.
So, yeah. So yeah, I totally did.
Yeah.
So, let's see how long they run without the O-rings, because
Right.
I'm also very lazy. There's like a pretty slim chance I take those pedals off until they start making noise again.
Yeah. No, I also have been fortunate to be surrounded. Like Marquette's got great bike shops, and that's an hour and a half north. And then I got Green Bay that has amazing bike shops, and the owners are all super cool. And it's like, it's almost like if I do have an issue with a bike, it's kind of like, oh darn it, I get to go to the bike shop and
Yeah.
put the bike there and bullshit with the guys. Like, oh darn.
Right. Yeah.
So I kind of look forward to that. Like the bike shops are, I think, like modern day barber shops for
Yeah, 100%. Especially if you have a good one that you're going to, you know.
Yeah.
So there's two different shops that I use. There's one that's like right next to where I ride a lot, and then there's like the one that's like close to my house. So it depends on one of those two is the one I'm showing up at most of the time. So
yeah, for sure.
Which is nice. And then both of them are like super cool. You know, people recognize you when you walk in and stuff. So that's rad.
That's a big
thing.
Yeah.
There was a point in my life where I definitely was always buying the cheapest thing, no matter what it was, like online. I just didn't have the money to like spare, you know. But fortunately now, like things are a little better, knock on wood, freaking, you know, for now. And it's like, okay, well, I'll go spend a little bit more there because like it's worth it, like supporting that local business, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have that sense that it isn't like you're keeping the doors open, but
right,
you believe in them being there. And and I just didn't know. Like I got into biking. Like I feel like it's funny because we're all like grown-ups now talking about how bikes are super rad, and it's like we've known that since training wheels, right? Like
right.
That was ingrained in our like brains.
Yeah.
What was I watching the other day? I think it was like, this Colin dude, this gravel racer. He was like, bikes are the best like accessory for the human body. Like nothing else can take you that far that easily. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's quite the invention if you really think about it. I mean, and honestly, like, look how long it really hasn't. I mean, it's changed, like generally speaking, you know, like, but it's not like somebody's revolutionized, like it's no longer two wheels and pedals, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
Like nobody else, right. That didn't work out that well. And like, even like the one wheel, you know, like it's like, oh, okay, this is a cool way that you can like go ride around, but I just don't see that coming as popular as a bicycle. Like it's just like I don't know what you would have to invent to like beat out the bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, we're going outer space and all that stuff, and we still got like, we're just riding bikes still.
Right. Exactly, man. So back to the packs. So whenever you decided like, okay, I'm gonna take this on, like how did you go about that? You were just like, you went out and bought like some sewing machine at Walmart, or like how did it play out?
Yeah, I told my wife, I said, I think I want to try to make my own bike bags. And she's like, I bet you do. So, yeah, we're like carting through Walmart. And like that one, you know, YouTube, just did some research on what the best, you know, cheaper model sewing machine there was. And it's like a Singer heavy duty, you know, it's kind of aluminum frame in it or whatever. But I just figured I just needed anything, and I didn't know. So then just using, common knowledge, I guess, and watching YouTube, like, you know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can figure out a lot of stuff from YouTube.
Yeah.
How to get the templates, but it definitely doesn't tell you like how to work a sewing machine, like to
Right.
actually sew and make corners at your big, big angled turns and stuff like that, and make that stuff look right and not have your bag twisted. If you start on this side and then you come up this other side, like the whole thing's going to twist, and that was just a lot of trial and error for really like a month and a half. I messed around with the same bag over and over and over, and then the top tube bag, that's kind of my pride and joy, because I think I use it the most. It's the most used bag while riding, easiest to access, and
so that would be a bag that's like right behind your stem, kind of right up on the top of your top tube.
Yeah, let me grab one.
I can see one behind you, but I'm trying to explain it for somebody that would be on a podcast.
Right. Yeah, it's just like a tank bag, like a gas tank bag. Some of them call it. I know this doesn't help our.
Yeah. So it attaches just to the frame there. Does it go around the stem as well, or?
Yep. Just one little stem mount that goes around and attaches, and then I just basically have two on the top tube that grab on, and that keeps it super secure. And I've stuck with the lace up. I don't do Velcro. I don't like Velcro, especially.
What do you mean lace up? What laces up?
So I'll have it. It's like an elastic cord that will lace up around your tube, and then you tie it, or you use a little cinch.
I see. Yeah.
So
I guess that would probably not scratch your frame then. Like Velcro would probably scratch your frame, like the hard backing or something, or.
Yeah, that's one reason. I mean, this still leaves some marks. You're going to get some movement and stuff.
Rubbing, yeah.
And it has actually like a nice little X pattern. I'm sure you've seen them laced up on like gravel bikes and stuff like that, with the little nylon 1-inch wide tabs that come up, and you just lace it through it, and you go to the next one, and kind of crisscross all over the frame. Some people, like when I first started doing them, thought, or they would get a hold of me like, well, what if I want to move it from bike to bike? I'm like, then just get another one for your other bike, because like, why do you have two of the same bike anyway?
Right.
So that wasn't really I didn't let that like detour me of how I wanted them. They're super clean too, so it pulls it like a trampoline. Like that thing is super stretched, super taut. And I do them. It depends on what bag I'm using, or how small the bag is. But I'll put lacing generally like 2.5 inches apart, to where that thing's pulling. There's no like sagging points in it, stuff like that. Velcro seems like a lot of people, like Ovea Negra uses like a big wide one, which is super nice. On like the top tube, and it'll flip over. Won't let it set, because that's basically all the weight's coming down and pulling on that top tube. So you need most of the support on the top tube, and then you just need like guide supports basically going down your down tube and your seat post. So I've had bad luck with Velcro with that being, you get these big sections where that sand gets in between, and it does rub. Like it'll just polish, or take the paint off the sections that it's on. And if you're in gravel and stuff like that, like bike packing or super sandy stuff, you load up Velcro with sand, and it's junk. Like it just won't work.
It just gets packed in there, is what you're saying, and it stops working. Yeah, okay.
Yep. And I've had that where it works its way in there, and over time, and you can brush it out of there and stuff like that. But I just like to lace up. I mean, that's my thing. And
yeah. That's rad.
Yeah.
So, like, how did you like keep learning how, like, it was really just YouTube and trial and error as far as the sewing goes?
Yeah, YouTube helped. And then once I started like getting my template, like the top tube templates were the hardest thing, right? Like the bottom of the bag. So we'll just talk about the bag, the tank bag. So the whole top is like a zipper, right? It's a zipper piece. And it was hard figuring out how wide to make that zipper piece, because then you're going to slice it down the middle and you're going to put a zipper on it, but you're going to fold it again, and then that final width It's like, oh, how wide is it going to be after I fold it and fold it again, add the zipper length width. And so that was hard to figure out. And then the top like hood, I call it, that goes on the top of the tank bag in front of the zipper next to the stem. It's a little bit longer on my bags. A lot of other bags, the zipper goes all the way to the stem. Mine doesn't. So it goes underneath like a hood.
Uh-huh.
So the zipper goes underneath there and kind of tucks away and you don't even see it. So it kind of,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, slips in there. But where the zipper ends, there's still about 1.5 inches of air basically. So where like if you stick your finger in underneath that hood, you would be down inside the pack so you can run cords out of it, but the water still sheds over onto the zipper.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super thoughtful.
Yeah, rather than doing like other companies and stuff, and people will do like right out the stem part where you can like separate, but it's hard to access that. You're going to be running cords out, and then you're typically not using too many cords unless you're on a real big.
Right. So what does like one of those gas tank bags run? How much does that cost?
$70.
I'm sorry?
70.
Oh, 70. Okay. So then that's for like them just telling you like, hey, I want anything. Like, what if they're like, I want like East Lithuanian leather and cheetah print or something like that?
Yeah, they get what I have. Like, that's what been the beauty of it. It's I've kind of kept it like in my wheelhouse of what I want to do. People aren't that able to request too many things because I just say, tell me what the kind of colors you got, what bike you're thinking. I can do some heat press stuff now, like the Morrow, logo and stuff on the side is like a heat transfer image that I was going and taking to my print shop in town, and got the Morrow like brand basically on there. That's probably another topic we should cover too, is the actual brand getting there. We'll just go into it. Why not?
Yeah, sure.
So a store in town, brick and mortar, Mike Pearson, super cool dude. His brother does like graphic design and stuff like that down in Florida. And he actually bought one of like the first 5 bags that I felt comfortable with selling because I didn't feel comfortable selling them. It was like, hey, can I have one? I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. So I want to give it to you. And it just like falls apart.
Right. Right. You're like, I lost my $1,500 cell phone. Thanks a lot, man.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, this thing's a pile of shit,
Yeah.
So I didn't want that. So I wasn't even comfortable. But he bought one at one of the first like 5 that I felt comfortable with. That was kind of cool. And I asked Mike, and I was like a couple weeks after, and I was like, hey, do you think your brother would be interested in like coming up with a logo, like a brand? And he's like, I actually think he's already working on it. I'm like, I don't even know this Josh dude from Florida. He just like supported me and felt good about it. And I have a feeling like he knows things that like I feel like bike bags are kind of trending in a way. Like they're really big right now. Not that they're not going to always be around or have been around. Like this is another thing that isn't new. Like bike bags have been around forever, right? Like
right. So on with the logo though. So then what happened? So how'd that play out?
So yeah, I got a hold of him and he was like, absolutely, dude. Like I am working on it. And I was like, that's like incredible to me that somebody was like believing in what I'm doing and trying to like give me an image, and help me out, like go towards something. When I'm still just making bags like for myself and bags that I think are cool, you know what I mean? Like, I can do this pattern and put this layer. So yeah, dude, I got an email. Like I literally fell asleep on the couch, woke up at like 1:30 a.m. Look at my phone and like that pops up. Yeah. And I'm like, holy crap. Like this dude just like get in my head, like, and do better than I could even think of. It's my last name.
Yeah.
Like this is so cool. And then the mountain, like the peaks and everything. It's like, what is that? Like, is that heart rate? Is that like, is it a heartbeat or is it mountains? I don't know. It's super cool. And then I think it's an ambigram. Is that what it is? I'm pretty sure it's an ambigram. So you can flip it and stuff like that.
Yeah. Whatever they call that thing. Maybe somebody in the comment. I think it's anagram, isn't it? Anagram.
Yeah. Somebody corrected me and said ambigram, and I was like, okay.
Oh, amba.
Amba.
I don't know. Somebody on the comments, let us know. You guys can like Google shit up.
Comments
If I
below.
try to start typing, talking at the same time, I screw it up.
No,
So yeah, no, it's pretty rad. So like I like the way the mountains are too. You can see the W or the M out of that as well. So that's like pretty rad that he did that. It's a really cool logo. It definitely is.
I've had some people get a hold of me, like they've bought a bag and then a month later it was like, dude, I didn't even realize how cool that like the logo is. I'm like, we just looked at it and they're like, oh yeah, it's like flipped and yeah.
You're like, I was just born with this name. I didn't even realize it could be cool.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I support it,
man.
Cool.
So back then to the sewing thing. So you're doing this YouTube thing. You're trying to figure out the template and how to
so
sew it.
The pieces and the like heights I want the thing to be, the widths without getting into your knee. Not that I went out and tested this thing a whole bunch. I just wanted it to fit on the bike right,
right.
And fit my phone.
What was that last thing? I'm sorry.
And fit my phone in it, Freaking phones are like that big.
Yeah, they're huge nowadays.
Yeah. And then
so once you get the top tube bag done, then were you like then working on trying to like figure out like a I don't know what they call that bag that goes in the middle of the frame. What would that be called?
That's like I think a 3/4 frame they call it, or half frame bag.
Just a frame bag. That's what they call it.
Yeah, just frame bag. I think that was definitely frame bags are my second thing. Like I wanted to lock in the top tube and be able to like have fun with that. It's believe it or not, I mean the frame bag is easier for me to make than that top tube little bag, just because there's super tight turns and stitching turns on that top tube, and everything's really skinny and tight, and I make them inside out, like that's how you make it. So they start inside out and you flip them all outside in, and then they're done, which is kind of a weird thing to like train my brain on too. Like when you're doing things, it's all like negative, like everything's backwards. So like, how is this going to turn out? Like make sure you're looking at the inside all the time, when you put pieces together and stuff like that. So that was actually a struggle too.
I barely know how to work a sewing machine. I can definitely do it. I took like home ec when I was in school, and honestly, like when I was in high school or middle school or whatever, and at the time I thought I was just really smart. I was like, dude, all the chicks are gonna be there, so I'm taking home ec. And to hell if I didn't come up with a couple of skills out of it though.
But, those are good skills.
Yeah. Honestly, like I have these Fox Enduro pads. I freaking love them. Like they're super comfortable, but I snag them on my pedals and like bushes and shit like that all the time. And they're expensive. They're like
neoprene.
Yeah, but it's like they have like this super like not even neoprene, like this like your favorite t-shirt, how like it gets to the point where you can like so old that you can like see through it.
Yeah,
it's like material that they bought purposely, like made that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's stretchy too, but it's like, so it's super breathable and comfortable, right? But it just like my pedals just love it. They're like, hey, come over here, let's just rip a new hole. And man, I sew those things all the time. And that's like one of those things though. It's like I was thinking about the other day as I was doing it. I was like, I wonder how many other mountain bike guys sew their own shit, or do they be like, fuck it, buy a new $80 pair of pads,
Yeah, I totally know. Like my brother-in-law just keeps bringing me stuff.
Now all of a sudden you're a seamstress. Yeah, he's like, he's like, can you sew these curtains for me?
Yeah. His dog ate his riding fanny pack because it had a Cliff Bar in it. His dog just ate his hunting vest zipper, and he's like, bring that over this morning.
Oh, that's funny. So after first of all, we gotta to say the person listening named Double R, which is awesome name, by the way. He says it is ambigram, AMBIGRAM. That's I freaking learned something today. What do you know?
I learned
the guy that told you where it wasn't lying. So
yeah,
or this guy's just like
super smart.
What was that?
It was probably my wife. She's super smart.
Yeah, yeah. You know, my lady always tells me that women are always right. So um,
Don't know that.
I agree. Always right.
He's 100% right.
100% all the time.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So then there's that. So once you started doing it for a while, did you realize that the sewing machine you bought was like a piece of crap or something, or did you actually like end up with something pretty good from what
Dude,
you're
still using the Walmart one. So I hit it like this all started last December, I think. Like last winter, December, I started trying.
So like mid-COVID, you're like, I'm just bored out of my mind. I need to do something. It's winter.
Probably that too. Yeah. I mean, I still had the bike and stuff like that, but this was definitely a good outlet. And I've been a landscaper all my life. I mean, since I was 15 years old, I started landscaping and I actually got good at it. Started running my own crew at like 18, doing design build stuff. So I always had like this craftsmanship. I specialize in like hardscape patios, brick pavers, retention walls, living areas. And then like since we moved to the UP in 2016, my wife pursued her career as a nurse anesthetist and stuff. So I like, there's no market for landscaping up here. So I don't have that anymore, like that outlet. And I think that was another thing I needed. Like I needed this craftsmanship outlet, and I don't want to carry bricks anymore. Like,
right. Yeah.
So I think that was another thing too. Like I felt that like, oh wow, this is cool. Like it's cool to me. Like I want to make it bag because I want to see it when it's done. And then turns out other people wanted to see bags like that too. And not that it's crazy huge, but our cycling community up here is pretty big and present and super supportive. I'm sure just like with, anywhere.
So initially you just started like making them for whoever your buddies or your buddies were.
Yeah.
And like now are you like
super behind? Can't keep up.
Yeah. Then there's that. So you're selling in like shops now, or I saw you had an Etsy page, but I wasn't sure what was going on with that.
Yeah. So that was the Etsy page was for my like first few bags that I had before any, like once I felt comfortable like releasing them, I guess.
Yeah.
I put on Etsy because I'm not going to like jam them down anybody's throats or anything. Like they're present, right? They're like just there.
Right.
I don't want to, I still don't have that like idea that I want to just have like I want to do this full time. Like I want to sit at the sewing machine 8 hours a day. Don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to do it because I want to do it. So I'm trying to balance and find this balance too, because it's kind of taken off a little bit. And
well, you could do it to a point where somebody else sits at a sewing machine all day that wants to be at the sewing machine all day.
Yeah. It's with anybody else, I'm sure it's like, it's hard enough. I would have to have somebody sit with me for 2 weeks. And that's probably all it would take is somebody experienced at sewing to come and look at me, what I'm doing for a day and be like, that's wrong.
Yeah. Like, by the way, I don't know which YouTube video you watched, but that guy is a crook.
Yeah. You are slow.
Yeah.
And very inefficient.
Let me show you how this is really done.
Yeah. That's probably true. But yeah, the Etsy thing, like the Etsy page, I threw up a few that I had on there just to see what would happen. And those kind of sat there. And then I remember making like these 7 bags, and I cut them all. I'm like, let's see how fast I can make bags. Like actually try to be efficient. I made like 7 bags with this new material. It's like the X-Pack stuff. And it's like a sailing material. Actually, they make sails out of it and stuff. It's got that sails. Yeah. For like sailing, boat sailing.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's water resistant, abrasion resistant. I'd call it waterproof. I'm sure at some point it breaks down and probably takes down a little bit of moisture and stuff like that. And then the seams, like I even thought about that in the beginning. I'm like, should I call these waterproof because it's waterproof material? But it's not. Nothing is. Like even the Blackburn welded ones, I've had standing water in the bottom 2-3 inches of water, after 40 miles of riding in the rain. So I'm like, nothing's waterproof. Like, you can't.
Yeah, apparently even the roof of my garage.
Nope, it's waterproof. Damn it.
Right. Right.
Uh,
So you make these 7 bags, and then what happened then?
buddy of mine, George, that owns Broken Spoke down in Green Bay, was like, dude, I want those bags, because I put them all in a line, did a little like post on whatever, and he's like, I want them all, and I was like, oh, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like,
apparently they sold pretty quickly.
yeah, I was like, well, okay, here you go, like sweet.
Yeah.
I'm in a store,
Yeah.
And he's super supportive and an awesome dude, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah, and he just bought them all, bought like 6 or 7 of them. I think he bought 6, and I had an extra one, and I just, from the Etsy page, threw it in there.
Right.
Yeah, and that was super cool. And then,
So did you ever sell any on Etsy, or that just ended up being?
oh
like
yeah, I had like 4 on there that sold. Yep, and those were like Morrow Packs 0.8. Like still.
So
a
do you
little
still
bit.
use that, or because I didn't see anything
it's
listed
up.
on there.
No, it's up, but I can't even, like, end of last winter, I was behind, like, I could make 20 bags, like 24 bags, I think I was saying, and wouldn't be caught up. And that
So
was
how long does it take you to make a bag?
from start to finish, like a whole bag, like with me doing my funky designs and stuff. If I dedicated 5 hours to it, I could make like a top 2 bag, start to
Right.
finish, cutting pulling the materials, cutting different materials, brainstorming how I'm going to do it, putting the heat transfer Morrow logos on it.
So 20 bags is like 100 hours then, and that's freaking over 2 weeks of full-time work.
Yeah,
You
it's
know, two
kind of a
two and
lot.
a half weeks basically, if you were doing it full time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's custom too. So it's like people reach out to you and they're like, hey, I want like purple and black. Can you do that or something?
Right.
And
And I'm like, yeah, I'll just use my judgment and my creative outlet to, you're going to get what you're going to get.
So
And
typically people don't like try to like be super, like they just give you colors and that's like it.
Yep.
They're like, make me something cool with like purple and black.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. I don't want you, not that I don't want you to be creative and want this stuff, but that's kind of how I felt. And that's why I do what I'm doing now, because it was so hard for me to explain to Rogue Panda or, Avea Negra, like, hey, I want you to make me something like this with this, somewhere cool.
Yeah.
Like, jump inside my head and then you'll know. Like,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have a buddy. He runs a company called Stickered, and they do like decals for bikes. And on one hand, like they do custom stuff, so that's some people like me maybe that are like, hey, I want these colors, and I want this like grid line on top of it, and I want whatever. Like I'm creative that way. You know what I mean? But a lot of people are like, dude, just show me like 10 things I can choose from. That's one of those I'm gonna like. You know what I mean? And like,
so that's where I like
what you said. Like, I can see my bike is purple, and I know I want a purple bag. Can you make me one that I'm gonna like?
And if I don't have a purple that matches it, I'm probably gonna give you like a black one with totally different colors.
Yeah.
But and this is the other nice thing, is that people are like, I won't take money from anybody until they get that bag in the mail and they like it. Like, if they don't like it, I don't even care. Like, keep it. It might not be a good business strategy.
Probably not a good model, but yeah.
But I really like, I have a pretty good judge of character, I feel like, throughout life and with people that I do want to work with, and like, I'm just,
unfortunately, like in business, I feel like somebody along the line will burn that bridge, like, and I think that it's good
then we'll adapt.
Yeah. Definitely like cross that bridge when you get to it. But like, I feel like it's just inevitable. Like, and not to say that like people are assholes or whatever. It's just like
you have no faith in humanity.
It's not that, it's just that like, I think over, like, it's a numbers game. Let's just say it that way. And sooner or later,
for sure,
you're going to have somebody who's like, they're not thinking they're wrong. You know what I mean? Nor are you thinking that you're wrong. Like, both of you guys are right in your own mind. And I think that's what
enjoy it or sell it or do whatever you got to do with it.
Yeah. And I think that eventually, like, someone, what they have in their mind is not going to be the same as what you have in yours. And that's ultimately where it's going to be like that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like you say, I'll just like whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I'm
promise.
Totally not totally not trying to like diminish what you're doing or like say that you're doing it wrong or anything. I'm just talking out loud.
No,
because it's just like life. You know what I mean? Like you have these like ideas of how things work, and they usually do work that way for a long time or a while, but somewhere along the line, somebody always like steps in and is like, hey, that's actually not going to be the way this one's going to work out. Like my ex-wife did that with marriage. I was like, holy shit, this is not the way that I thought it was going to go down.
Yeah, such is life. But I'm not trying to worry about that too much because I've experienced a ton of that in my life. And
yeah, totally, man. No, I think it's
minor. Like this is such a positive thing, and cycling, honestly, 9.999% of the time out of 10 has always been a positive thing. There's only been a few things that have been like a negative aspect, and that's when I experienced that when I worked with a trail network. We won't get into that, but those are like that was probably the most negative thing that I've ever experienced. Like
I feel like there will be there are things in life where it's like it feels negative, but if you really look at it, there's always some kind of like positive gain. Like even if the positive gain is that you learned not to do that again, like that's the positive gain. And I don't know, that's the way I try to approach everything in life.
Right.
Like I was joking about the divorce earlier, and like when I got divorced, people would ask me like, how are you like, you seem like you're happy about things in life. And it's like, look, this is not shit that I can control. You know what I mean? And it's like, I could walk around and kick the can and be like disgruntled and be a shitty person, but really who that affects the most is me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
People, like in general.
What was that?
I said, I fucking hate those people.
Yeah.
Like, if people are just super grumpy, you can tell, man. Like, you bump into them on the streets and it almost makes me want to just fuck with them, you know? Like, come on, really? Like,
so for me, it was just like, dude, it's totally like, I mean, it's even something I taught my kids when they were younger. I was like, dude, you get to decide if you're mad, you're angry. Like, no, there's no like timer.
Yeah, nobody's going.
Yeah, there's not like there's like this God timer. It's like you get pissed off, it lasts 7 minutes and 27 seconds, and then you're happy. So you just got to make it through that. You know, it's like, no, it's you. It's 100% you. You can be angry for fucking 2 years, or you can be angry for 10 minutes. It's really up to you.
Right.
You know,
let's try to make it 10 minutes. Let's get past this and
move on. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
So you start making these bags, and like now you're selling them like almost accidentally, it seems like, you know.
Very accidentally. Yeah.
So at what point are you like, this is actually like becoming a business? Were you prepared for it to be a business?
Oh no. No, I still am not.
Yeah.
So on top of George buying those bags, and then just people kind of being like, oh, I see your bags are in there. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Bear Claw bikes.
No,
they're at Traverse City. So let me introduce Bo Jackson.
That's Bear Claw behind you.
Yep, that's Bear Claw. Bo Jackson just got it this summer.
For those of you listening, it's a fully rigid bike. Looks like, is that titanium or is it just like a
it is titanium? Yeah. So the frame, bars, and fork are titanium. The bars actually.
I want to get it.
Huh?
I want to get a titanium bike. I really do. I don't know why, but I just do. Every time I see one, I'm like, oh, they just look so cool.
It's metal. It's like metal.
Yeah, and it's like something about it, like I think it's the gravel bike that I want. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just like they always just look so sharp. It's like the black, everything else black, and then the titanium. It just like it just looks so clean together. You're like, oh, this is rad.
Yeah. I mean, you can get like Firefly bikes. I think make some super cool. They do some anodized like coatings and colorings and stuff like that. But I just like the sheen of metal and
Yeah. No, I'm 100% in the metal. I had this guy on from Revel Bikes, and they also do Y Cycles, which is all titanium stuff.
Okay.
And I really want to get one of their frames and build a gravel bike because it looks cool. I mean, and then like I could be like one of those guys in like jorts or something like that and be like, dude, I got a titanium gravel bike, man.
Yeah. And my bike bag is full of freaking paps.
Right? Fuck yeah, dude. I could get those PBR gloves from Hand Up, man.
Oh yes.
Like, yeah, I'd be like,
that's what I'm all about. Yeah.
There's a company that I met somewhere along the line, and they do kind of bags almost similar to yours, but they're actually just for like beer. So it's like a frame bag.
Stash.
Something like that. Like
Yeah,
it's like a frame bag. You put like 6 beers in it or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's stasher bags. Yeah. Those are
Yeah, I talked to him a while back because I was going to do this video. Right when I first started my channel, I did a video called B1KER Your Bike. And I put like some bottle opener on the derailleur, like
the front one, yeah.
yeah. And then I had like some bottle cap thing, stem cap thing from Niner. It's called like You Are What You Drink. You can buy this little stem cap. You can push your bottle caps on. And anyways, I was thinking about, I want to do another one of those because that was just fun and goofy.
Yeah.
And I had reached out to them, and for whatever reason, it's like we went back and forth. Like they're like, "Oh yeah, dude, we totally will send you one." And then it was like both of us forgot for like 6 months, you know. And then it would be like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Let me finish this." And then I'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to be out of town. I don't want you to ship it yet," you know. And like for whatever reason, it's been like 3 years of us doing that. One of these days, I'll make another B1KER Your Bike video. That should be on my list. Actually, I feel like that's happening.
They're back on the list.
They're back on the list, man.
Yep.
I have some good ideas for it. I really do. At least I feel like they're good ideas.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I thought one time I was riding and I was thinking, dude, I have like a winning idea right now. What about something that you could put cans of beer in that would keep them cold while you're riding? Like, that sounds exactly like a cooler, doesn't it?
It does. Like a cylindrical cooler.
Right. So, but in my mind, I was like, no, it's almost like a koozie, but it's like just like gel stuff in there, and you just slide in there.
And it's long.
Right?
You can line your top tube and your down tube. And it works.
Got done with my ride, dude. Went on Amazon. Son of a bitch, they already had them. I was like, well, guess I didn't think of that.
Yeah, fast enough. If you think of it, it's done.
I was thinking like, oh man, like what if you had one of those bags? You could put like a 22, like a good bottle of like something fun, you know, like some beer that you like. I was like, you can slide in there. I was like,
you're onto something. You need to make get it like a growler cozy or koozie.
Yeah, they have them for wine bottles though, so that's where I was like, well, I guess somebody's already on that. But that was one of my ideas for maybe the B1KER Your Bike video is like show people, look, this is what you can do. You can put it right in that bag, and next thing you know, you got like people always carry beers like in their bag or like that stasher kind of bag or whatever. Yeah. But I'm like such a like I don't know what you call it, like a priss about beer. Like it has to be freaking cold, man. Like I don't like warm beer.
Right.
Especially like IPAs are freaking horrible if they're warm.
Yeah.
This isn't Germany. You can't drink like a Weizen, like a Hefeweizen. You can drink that thing lukewarm. It doesn't even matter, you know?
Yeah.
But like an IPA, you're like, this is horrible. So I'm always thinking of like, how do I get cold beer like in the middle of my ride? You know?
You have to have a buddy meet you halfway with his truck and cooler.
Yeah, right. So I feel like
on some of our
with a Morrow insert, like a little gel insert thing that you put in that little top bag.
Right? So it does have inserts on the sides, but it does have inserts on the sides. That's what makes them rigid. Like they'll stand up on their own. You know?
Oh yeah, there you go.
So on each side. So maybe I should come up, talk to somebody and get some
I bet you could make those little, like, just something that's like a little like ice pack
Cooling.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
like a gel bag.
Talk to
And you
Milwaukee.
just,
I mean, they have those like heated jackets and stuff. Like make them have a cooled pack. Like a
yeah. I bet you if you go on like Alibaba.com, there's some like place in China that will make them exactly the size that you want. You're like, I want it like 2 inches at the bottom and 2.5 inches at the top, and I want it to be 6 inches long.
Yeah.
And make me these gel packs, and then you get like 1,000 of them for like $500 or something like that. You know?
Yeah, I bet you got. Yeah, I could probably be way more efficient and come up with a bunch of stuff.
That's what we're doing here right now, dude. We're making you a millionaire.
Other people are already started this stuff. We've been talking about it too much.
Right? We just gave it up right on the internet.
They're already on it.
Here, I thought we were doing something good, and
yeah, we are. We are still.
Yeah, right.
They're gonna
so
be
I asked you earlier about the sewing machine, and I think we got sidetracked. So, did you realize
I think what I was on was Bear Claw?
Oh,
so
okay.
The owner, Jason Lowitz, he actually messaged me and was like, "Dude, I want one of those bags." And I was like, "Okay." So I think it was a white one. Like I posted a white one or something. He's like, "I want that white one." And I had bear claw bolts, heat pressed on like the zipper spine of it. I forget. I did it for somebody who requested it, and I asked them if it was okay, and they're like, "Yeah, that's fine if you put the bolts on it." They're like little logo. So I made that one with the bolts coming down the spine, and he's like, "I need that white one." I was like, "It's yours." I'm like, I don't know what I was going to do with it anyway. So he put it on one of it, I think like the Thunderhawk or something, and just a couple little posts from him, and his bikes are worldwide. So instantly it was just like, boom, 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 started following you. I was like, holy crap. Like he just made a little story post with my pack on his totally bare bike, and all there was the Morrow pack on top, kind of like barely in there for a second. Yeah. That's all it took. And then I had a huge following from Bear Claw owners. And that's a pretty strong presence in like the legit, I would say, cycling community in Michigan and stuff. A lot of them, I mean, even that bike is built for Michigan gravel. Like it's 29, 2.25. It can hold 2.26 at 29-inch tires on it. It's boost spacing. It's mountain bike wheel set, because it's pretty chunky and crappy and sandy and water crossings, and I'm sure you guys got the same kind of climate there, like in terrain, in the mountains. Like your gravel roads probably aren't like nice gravel roads. They're probably washed out and rutted up. And
yeah, I would imagine. I don't do a lot of gravel riding. I have a gravel bike, but I mostly use it as a road bike. I put slicks on it, and I have like the knobbies, and I'll switch them back and forth, but for the most part, I mostly use it as a road bike. When my lady got into riding road, let's just say, and I for a long time was just using a single speed, and eventually she's like wanting to do these road rides that had like a bunch of climbing in it, and I couldn't do it all on my single speed, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy a road bike. No, I'm not. I can't convince myself to buy a road bike, but I could talk myself into buying a gravel bike, because then I'm like, well, I bought a gravel bike. I'm not a roadie,
No.
Yeah. And I am also like, I'm one of those guys, I will never wear like the spandex suit. Like, I just can't. I feel like you can't be my size and wear spandex. It's like, that's not something you do unless you're drunk and in Mexico, like, like you just don't do that. You don't get a big hairy beast like me riding around in freaking spandex. So
I wear, look at me. I mean, we could be doppelgangers at some point. You got blue eyes, but yeah. This guy, I wear spandex.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I can't do it. I can't. Even when I was young, like when there was no, like, I started riding mountain bikes in the 90s, the early 90s, and there was no like mountain bike riding gear back then. And even then, I would wear like the spandex shorts, like that, like that was the only thing to buy, like road shorts, basically,
Right.
And I would wear regular shorts on top of them. So it was like I'd wear those, so I had the chamois.
Yeah,
because that's back before you didn't have a chamois.
Really the reason, because it is. I have to have that.
Yeah. And I don't really care about the aerodynamics, so I guess that's what it comes down to with the spandex. So I'm like, I'm that guy on the road ride that's like dressed like a mountain biker, like still a t-shirt on, flapping in the wind or whatever the fuck,
Right. Yeah. I started wearing just the spandex when, like 2 years ago. Gravel riding, you don't see anybody. Like, you literally see nobody. And then I got comfortable doing it because I felt like if I went for a 60-mile ride, if I wore my flappy shorts, like I could probably 4 to 6 of those miles were easier because I wasn't flapping in the wind. Like that was my thought process. Like,
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I think it's there. I mean, aerodynamics are huge. I mean, just there's so many aspects of aero.
I'm sure there is 100% like science behind what you're saying, but this is like the shit that pisses my lady off. I'm just like, I don't care. I don't believe it.
No, I love it.
She's like, no, but it's science. I'm like, that's cool. I still don't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, even though I know you're right, I don't believe it. That's just what I get to say.
I'm super all top heavy and stuff too. And I put my legs are like the only fit part of my body nowadays.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh, dude, it's always been that way in my life, man.
I'm like, check those quads out.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, if I gain weight, it is 100% between like my chin and my like belt. And that's it, dude. It's like the only place I've lost like 60 pounds, and my arms and my legs are not any different. It's just the movies and the beer belly, and that's it.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's like
what are we not doing here?
Right?
Am I not twisting up for like
right? Like, how did that happen? Some people gain weight like amazingly, like well, I can't think of the word right now, like equally across their body. You know what I mean? You're like, wow, how do you do that? You look exactly the same, but just bigger. Like I turn into, I don't know what that is. It's like, they're like, oh, wow, look, Robert went from an A cup to a C cup. That's good. Yeah, he looks like he's having fun,
Yeah, I mean, it's like getting out of winter, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So, anyways,
no,
so
I don't. The only thing I like really bums me out about just wearing like the kit is I don't have pockets down here. I'm like, I need fucking pockets.
Yeah, I just don't believe it, man. I feel like it makes a difference if you're like Lance Armstrong, but I feel like if you're us, like, I don't know, man, have some pockets, go out, wear whatever shirt. And plus, like, I don't understand, like, maybe they can make them like not so like roady. I guess I just don't want it to be.
That's what I'm saying. Put more pockets in them fucking things. Or
I feel like I could do this. I could
do a good breakup, not just black.
Maybe work out like wearing one of the shirts, even though I'm top heavy. But I'd still have to wear like regular bike shorts. Like I could maybe wear the shirts just because, like they got their pockets on the back.
The tops don't do me any good. I feel.
No,
I just. But the shorts, I don't know. I just go with those, and it's all applicable though for what ride you're doing. For me, like when I know I'm just gonna go ride my bike for 6 hours by myself.
Yeah,
I don't fucking care.
Yeah, it took me a long time even just to get a road helmet. I was like, I don't give a shit, dude. I'd be straight up enduro out there on a road bike.
Give me the fucking visor, thank you.
Right. When I talked to Jeff Lenoski, he's like, no, dude, I have to dress for like the bike I'm riding. Like, he's like, if I'm on a road bike, I'm wearing the road gear.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm definitely like,
I can relate.
I get it. I totally get it. It's just like, it's just me. I'm like, I refuse to look like that.
Yeah.
Because maybe if I looked like Brian Kennedy, like all ripped and shit, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, yeah, I'll wear that stuff.
What's the big deal?
Like, nobody wants to see how small my waist is compared to my belly. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And you wore the baggy upper, so you wore spandex shorts with a baggy shirt.
Right. So like, why do you look like Mr. Potato Head? I don't quite understand.
Now you look extra. Just whose legs are those?
Right? Oh yeah, yeah. I'm like,
What's
what's
his
that little
name?
green guy from fucking Monsters Inc? What's his name? I can't remember.
Right.
Yeah,
Mike
whatever it is.
Wazowski?
Zouse,
Are
yeah,
you Mike
something like
Wazowski?
that. That's basically me or Mr. Potato Head. Mr. Potato Head's probably closer because he's got those big googly eyes.
Oh man.
Anyways,
I
so
don't I think I don't know how it works. I just know it feels right. Like I went on a
yeah,
group ride with my gravel bike week and a half ago, and I was like, I'm gonna put my fucking shorts on, like
yeah,
my riding shorts, like over my camis, and
yeah.
I don't know
There you
these
go.
people.
See, yeah. So anyway, so you do this. The guy from Bear Claw Bikes does this
Yeah,
post,
Jason.
and you get all these followers that on a sudden then are like,
Then it was I couldn't keep up. Like
so
I
now you
had,
got all these orders you don't know what to do with.
like, how do I order and what do I tell you and what do I do? And I'm just like, it's all Instagram.
Right.
Like, honestly, I'm backed up, and if I can get to you, it'll be soon. They're like, okay, that's great, fine. Like, hey, how can I send you money? And I'm like, you don't. Like, just
I don't know how to do that yet.
yeah, like just don't. I'm not doing anything right now. And then it's winter work for me. Like, I can't do it in the summer, especially up here in the UP. Like I take my summer seriously up here, just because you're going to be locked down for like 7 months in the winter. Not that we don't do fun stuff, but it's like when it's nice weather, we're going outside.
Yeah. You guys have a short window,
Yeah.
Like it
Like,
hasn't like it's rained twice in the last couple of weeks here, but they were like pretty short little stints. And other than that, it's like the last time we had rain like we're having right now was like probably 9 months ago, dude. So it's like the first day that I really couldn't ride because of rain. And it's like 12 hours into the day, and I'm like, okay, I'm over it.
yeah, chill out on that.
Yeah, I'm like, so am I gonna be able to ride on Monday? And the weatherman's like, well, maybe not Monday too. And I'm like, 2 days of not being able to go. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Where do I live? A freaking Amazon rainforest?
Right. Yeah. I've been dealing with this forever.
You don't even know, man.
46 hours, sir.
Yeah. They're like, come on. Meanwhile, you're over there like, yeah, I'm gonna be locked down for 7 months. I'm like, 7 months?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I fat bike too, so
Yeah,
I'm not off the bike.
So let's get back to the bag. So now you're all behind. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what's your plan?
People just kind of disappeared.
Huh?
All those bags that I was behind on, they just kind of
Dwindled away. So at this point, is it like orders are trickle in still, or they're like?
Well, I'm just trying to set myself up to like be organized to accept it, and I want to do like I'm open, I'm closed kind of thing. So I bought some equipment to be able to be a little bit more efficient, like the computer. Honestly, this is my first computer ever. Like I've had a couple hand-me-down laptops and stuff, but so I got the computer, I got a Cricut.
What's a Cricut?
A Cricut, YouTube it. No, it's all those like DIY, like make your own coasters, and you can cut out stickers. You can,
what? You can make your own stickers?
Yeah, I make my own stickers. I make my own heat pressed logos, like all my Morrow Pack stuff. I can.
How's the heat press work?
It's pretty sweet. It's like a little rectangle. You just clink, and like you would do for making shirts and stuff, like logos.
It's like a big iron kind of thing or something like that.
Yeah, big square thing, and heat it up to 300 degrees. And
is it like vinyl or something? Is what you're doing?
Like a lot of the stuff that I heat press on is vinyl. Yeah, or that X Pack is what it's called. That's that sailing material, which is a nylon based. It's like a PVC backed kind of material. And then they have like Cordura is another material that looks like canvas, but it's a PVC backed canvas, so to make it waterproof or resistant, I would say. And then I have wax canvas that I like working with too, which is super like kind of authentic looking, and that's why I just made that pack for Bo Jackson today, actually. I did like a insulation filler in between it and then stitched it in diamonds. So it has that like pillowing diamond.
Oh yeah. Man, you're getting fancy, dude.
Yeah, but that's what I want to like. I don't want to be like, oh crap, I need to make 20 black bags. Blah, blah, blah,
Right,
you know,
right.
like I want to. Like,
so you
stop.
really never used a sewing machine in your life before you like started, or
Nope.
like that was literally like your first time was when you decided to make the bag?
Okay, a week before that on a week before that on Facebook, because I had these cool pants and I had like 2 pairs of them, and the crotches blow out in all my cool pants. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And it drives me nuts because they're nice pants. They're like $100, and
Yeah.
it was driving me crazy. So I'm like, I needed a little sewing machine, and this lady was like, free, and it was this mini. I mean, I'm holding my hands up. It's 8 inches tall and like 8 inches wide. This little mini sewing machine that like has like a little hand press thing. Dude, like draw it through, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna go pick it up and see what I can do, and then YouTube how to thread it.
Yeah.
And then got that right, I thought, and just like 2-inch back and forth and made that work. And I was like, my pants, they're back, got super stoked on that. And then I think that was like the thing was like, I can sew.
Yeah. You're like, dude, I'm a goddamn professional.
Babe, look at my pants.
You don't even know. Look, my balls aren't hanging out anymore. This is awesome.
Going to Walmart.
Right. We're starting a business.
Yeah. All in.
Right.
And then spring hit. I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, you're over, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna go ride my bike.
I know how that goes, man.
Yeah.
You're inspiring me though, man. It definitely is like it. Have you thought about doing something other than like the bike bags? Like, have you thought about doing like a fanny pack or something like that? Or
I thought about it all.
Yeah.
I would like to. I mean, I am in no way a bag. I mean, I make a top tube bag, like the tank bag, and I can make the frame packs, but I can't do like those saddle bags, that go underneath the seat that for actual bike packing and stuff. Harnesses. I mean, those things are like, they're in depth. I mean, that's not just, here's a few panels. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I guess if I sat down and thought about it as hard as I thought about tank bag that I made, I could probably pull it off. But I can't even keep up with the top tube bags. So I don't want to like spread myself even more thin. I just want to.
Yeah. Like at some point you're going to have to make a decision on whether or not like you want it to get to be more, than like the side gig, I guess.
Right. Like,
so like right now you're 100%. You're like, this is a cool side gig, and that's where I want to keep it.
Yep. Yeah. I just want to. Yeah, I don't want to lose control of it. And I felt like that almost a couple times already. Like, ooh, if I promised a little bit too much, I could really, screw myself up. Like, I don't want to be, now that I'm a company, because I just like made it legit like a month ago with LLC and all that crap and taxes. And I was like, I just don't want to like lose control of it, or
doesn't LLC that costs money, right? It's like $1,500-$1,600 a year or something like that.
Yeah, it costs. I was just complaining about that to my wife today. I was like, why do I keep getting bills from the accountant? She's like, well, that's what happens when you own a business. I'm like, Jesus, like I haven't even made anything.
I thought we just make money, dude. I didn't know this.
Like she's like, well, you better get in the basement.
Get back down to your basement, son.
Right. I'll go make a bag for me.
Right. That's too funny. Yeah, I haven't done the LLC thing for B1KER yet. I've been thinking about it though, because I want to start doing. I did these things before in the past called B1KER Camp, and I actually want to get that going again this year or next year.
Oh, what's that?
Well, I before the way I would do it was in the middle of winter, I would pick a date that I knew that the snow was going to be melted in like Downeyville. It's like this place. Do you know what Downeyville is? Okay.
I only know because the Patagonia video, Dirt Magic.
Yeah. Yeah. So for people that don't know, Downeyville is like a 14-mile downhill run that they shuttle you from. So anyways, what I would do is I would pick a weekend. I'd be like, oh, I can tell like how much snow we have. Like, you know, probably second week of June, we're going to be straight. You know, it'll be melted. We'll be able to go do something. So then I would pick like the third or fourth week, you know, of June. I'd be like, okay, because it's March, nobody's booking these campgrounds. So their campground it's completely empty, right? So I could be like, hey, this campground, we're gonna do biker camp. Get the spots now. We'll get the whole campground, you know, and then everybody would go like camp and have a good time and whatever. So like, and I did it like a couple years in a row. It just was getting bigger and bigger, and then just because of different things, we had a winter that was like really heavy. And the snow actually didn't even melt. They didn't open Downeyville until like the middle of July. Like there was so much snow.
What's the altitude on that? Like
the top of the hill was probably like the top of the mountain's probably like 8,000 feet or something like that. Oh, yeah. And the town itself is at like 4,000 feet, which usually doesn't like the snow's melted for sure, like way sooner than that.
Yeah.
But it's the top where they're shuttling you to and the access on the roads, like, and actually to even be able to see the trail, right? So for whatever reason, I haven't done it for like 2 years. And I want to do it again next year. And I have some ideas for how I want to go about it. And this time I'm like actually kind of doing it more as like a legitimate event. And in order to do that, like I need the protection of the LLC. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to like do
a special event, insurance too.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like if it's B1KER as an LLC that's doing it, and somebody sues me because they like broke their leg or got drunk and drove home, like they don't get to take my house away. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so I've been really debating over it, but like I don't know if it's different state by state, but at least whenever I checked out here, it was something like $1,500 or something like that to do it. And I don't know if it was like annually that you had to pay it, but I remember whatever it was, I was like
California
yeah,
rates.
I'm not making that kind of money yet. And I was like, I'm not gonna just for the LLC.
Oh,
I think it's an annual thing though.
Rate or
huh?
I said, is that a California rate or
it could be? I don't know.
Yeah. Could be. I remember it's usually 3 times as much over there.
Yeah, I remember whatever the amount was that because I remember asking the tax person, I was like, I should do that. And they were like, well, this is how much it costs. I was like, I'm not doing that.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah. Because at that point, it was like, I don't know, whenever I asked, it was, I was probably making a freaking $100 a year on my YouTube channel at that point. So it's like, not that I'm making much more, but it's definitely, something where it has to make sense. It's like when I first started my channel, it was like so upside down, as far as like how much
you're doing it because you had a vision of what you wanted to do. It was for you, right?
Yeah. But I think, with a lot of things in business, like you don't really realize how much everything costs until you start doing it. You know what I mean? And then you're like, wow, man, like how did I spend this much money like for this channel? Like when I first started the channel, it was like watching BKXE, like, oh, I just need to get a gimbal and a GoPro and then I can quit my job. Right. And like lo and behold, like there's other factors and lots of other things. Like it's ridiculous how much money I've spent on this channel, like just like getting lights or getting cameras or getting like even that little like wood backdrop thingy. There. I probably spent like $200 on the wood and the freaking angles, and you know what I mean. Like,
plus, you're probably $100 an hour dude.
Oh, what?
You're probably $100 an hour dude.
I know, right? Yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
That's
it's like
the real issue.
It's shit that you just like you don't realize like all these things like add up, and I don't remember where I was going with that, but anyways, that's why it's important for those of you guys that are listening that want to be helping me out. Shoot by my Patreon, man. It really helps. It really does. So.
Yeah. No, dude, you're putting on the camp, dude. Bike camp.
Yeah. So the last time that I talked to the people in Downeyville, and this is when they were just starting this like area that they were working on, they wanted me to pay them $3,000 for the let's just call it the campground. It's like
Reserve it.
an open field that I would be doing this event in, right?
Right.
So it was like before that, I was doing it as like a zero kind of commitment, right? You know, it's just like, hey, here's the campground. You guys rent your own spot. We'll all be there. We'll all drink all the beers and we'll have fun. But it was no like fiscal responsibility on my end, right? So like once they're like, okay, well, if I want to make it bigger, then I'm gonna have to pay for this place, right? And if I'm gonna have to pay for this place, then it's like, oh well, crap, man. Like I could spend a couple $1,000s on like a bunch of other people having fun, and me not actually getting my money back.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go into like the Lone Wolf we just did. I just put on a gravel race. I think it was 3 weekends ago, and so I established a 501c3 nonprofit organization and called it Iron Hill Cycling Team.
Okay.
So now we have a cycling team in town, and we have like.
So what's the 501c3 for? Like, because that you have to have like, what's your cause?
So a 501c3 is a nonprofit organization, and our cause is basically whatever we want it to be at any event. So we haven't had an event or anything. We haven't had a bank account. We're just present, right? Like I put up funds to create it, which was like $300 to the CPA, and he did all the paperwork and gave us a tax ID number. And then we're Iron Hill Cycling Team. And then I had a favorite route of this gravel loop that we have around here, me and my brother-in-law, that we rode all the time. Which we ran up on a Lone Wolf. Like we were riding our bikes and we're grinding down in this big trough, and we come up and here's a big gray wolf just trotting, looks over his shoulder at us. And, you know, Tony's like, wolf, wolf. I'm like, holy shit, you know, jumps off into the woods a little bit. And it was just kind of a surreal experience that we had on that loop. So I was like, let's make that a thing. And it's a gorgeous loop. There's probably 30 miles of gravel, just under 20 miles of pavement, through like rolling country hills and stuff in the UP, and it's just beautiful. Few cars, no traffic, really, even on the paved parts. So
it's like a 50-mile loop is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like 43 miles actually. It's 50 miles.
Right,
yeah.
Right
on. It's like 2,500 foot of climbing. Nothing crazy. Just real rolling. They're truck trails. This is where we take all the logging trucks through in our county and stuff.
Yeah.
They're pretty rough. There's like little, you know, baby head size boulders in the road and everywhere. So anyway, we made it a race, and I was like, why don't we run this through our nonprofit and make it an event? And they're like, well, we don't know how to do it. And I was like, me neither, but I've been to enough and I'm going to give it a shot. So I know where you're coming from, I guess is what I'm getting at, is like where you're like, how do I do it? How can it work? Because you believe in something, you want to make it something. And 3 weekends ago, we had 70 people racing. I think it was actually 60, 65 people on course. We had 84 sign up. And like first year, we had people from Green Bay and Marquette and downstate Michigan, and everybody show up, and they're just like, I just advertised gravel. Like I put it on, it's a Lone Wolf 50 on Instagram, and took pictures of gravel roads and us riding it, and people just showed up and they're like, let's do it. We're racing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know where I'm taking you. Like, you know, they're like, nope, you gave us a GPS route, you know, and there's going to be signs on the course, and people showed up. But I rallied enough money from like the bank that I opened the account in, sponsored us first. That was like $1,000 from them. Brick and Mortar, who I was talking about earlier, his shop, they donated like $500 second. I was like, we got $1,500. So I paid it. We talked about having a poster made, which is that one. And we had a poster made. That makes it like official, like an old rock band kind of thing.
Right.
And
yeah. Once you have a poster, dude, that's
dude,
like,
you're in.
Yeah. It's like, that's it. Dude.
Yeah. We got a poster, we got an image, we got a race and insurance. And that was the only other thing we needed was insurance, because if you want
So how did
permission,
that play
like,
out? How do you do the insurance? You just like called up like State Farm and like, hey Jake, how do I do this?
yep, we're putting on an event in town, and it's a little bit more difficult for some and not others, but um, this lady that I talked to in town, she's done a couple like running events and stuff before, and she's like, oh yeah, just apply for a special event thingamajigger and 2 million
Uh-huh.
bucks and blah blah blah, and it was like $410 for the day.
Wow. Okay. So you get so it's like $400 and you got $2 million in insurance.
Yeah,
And then that's basically like covering you for like whoever wants to sue you for like breaking their neck or whatever.
mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you guys can only get
It's
2
all,
million.
I mean,
That's
it's
it.
all scary. Like I still have anxiety. You know what I mean? Like the day of, that morning of, I'm standing there and all these people are coming down the hill. I'm like, holy crap! Like I just pictured, like, I just rallied 70 people together, and here come the feds coming down the hill. Like, you can't
Yeah.
do this. Send
Right.
everybody home. What are
Right.
you doing?
Right.
That's just
Yeah,
not what
I was like, I think for me, the biggest fear for me, aside from like, spending a couple $1,000s of my money to like not actually make it back,
you just got to
like,
talk to these other guys and have them sponsor you.
yeah, and I feel like I could like come up with some ways to like get around that part of my worry. I think my biggest worry is honestly like it was the same thing when I was doing biker camp. Like I get so enrolled in I want to make sure everybody has a good time. You know what I mean? And
And
that's
dude,
the part like
they
I am
totally
not even
do.
gonna I'm not even bullshitting you. Like the last biker camp I had, I remember standing there and just like watching everybody, and it brought a tear to my eye, dude. Like where it was
It's
like
emotional. Heck
I
yeah.
can't believe that it was like, I don't know, let's just say there was like 100 people there. And it was like, holy shit, like
Like, yes,
everybody's
we're
laughing
together.
and they're having a fucking good time. And it was like,
And everybody's high fiving. Everybody's like,
yeah.
thanks
Yeah. And
for
it was just like, wow, dude, like I made this happen. Like it was just like really, like you said, like it was emotional. It was like
it's
I
like
and
humbling. It's all these crazy things. Yeah.
I would have never thought that I would feel that way. Like I would have bet you my house before that. Like, are you gonna go up there and get all sappy about this weekend and be like, fuck no, dude, shut up, man. I'm a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're like,
Like,
this is fucking cool.
right. So it's like,
Like, dude,
and like that's like when I did that those two that I did, like I had came up with this idea where I played like a YouTube Jeopardy. So where I had these contestants and I like put together like basically Jeopardy, but it was all questions that were like based off of mountain bike YouTube. And like, so like, let's just say like a topic would have been like single track sampler. And it would have been like, whatever, 8 questions about him. And that the main reason that I did that, which ended up being like a super huge effort, to like make the board and all the questions and whatever, like it sounds like super simple, but it was like really just because I was like, oh wow, I have all these people coming. Like I have to entertain them somehow. You know
right.
what I
That's
mean?
when the anxiety sets in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I can't just be like, hey, okay, thanks for coming. Let's drink beer like I would with my buddies. Like, it's like for whatever reason. And that's the part where I feel like with the event where I'm like, I know my process. Like I'm gonna be instantly like, I need a band, I needed this, I needed, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's going to turn into a real event. Like it's not going to be a joke. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm super excited about that, but I'm like way nervous about it too. So I guess that's the we get all the way through that I should probably get an LLC. So
Yep.
that way nobody else owns
Or do the nonprofit thing. Try that.
Yeah, that's interesting too. The thing that's cool about a nonprofit, especially like I've thought about it before, is that you can do raffles. And in California, you can't do a raffle unless you're a nonprofit. So like I could do raffles if I had a nonprofit. And then at that point, that would be fun. Because then you could get like, let's just say if I could rally a bike from a company, like I could do a raffle to like give that bike away. And that would be like a really cool way to generate income for the A nonprofit, and then B, like it'd be a cool thing for somebody to get like a bike that's a couple $1,000 for like $5. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
I will say this one thing though, that I hate about raffles, especially that damn Omaze one that I've donated so much money to, trying to get that damn Sprinter van. They never tell you who the hell won, right? Why is there not like an omaze.com/winners page where I can go through every year and be like, here's whenever we gave the Robert from Sacramento.
Yeah, here's the dude that won. And he's like, no, right? Never see that, like, dude.
Never. Like, even Publishers Clearinghouse used to at least have the video of them showing up at the door with a big fucking check, right?
Like, right now, hold on, I think he's here.
Right? Like, the doorbell rings, they open up, they're crying. They're like, oh my God, I didn't even know. Like,
Robert, why never believe it?
Right. They never have that. And that's what I'm irritated about. It makes me feel like it's all a scam.
That's why I'll never do any of those, like Instagram, like, tag your buddy, like our post, and go over and follow so-and-so. And I'm like, how are you keeping track of who I'm following? You know, like, how do you know I went over there and liked it and then came over here and liked it and then
I feel like,
and
I've gone through that same process too, but I feel like it's like an honest, like, keep them honest type of thing. Because I don't know how, like, I don't even know how would I would assume that whenever you like chose your winner, you would like vet them then, you know, like, oh, did he actually subscribe? You know, like,
right? You got to really look into him.
Right. Yeah.
I thought about it. Like, oh, throw a pack out there. Like, do a giveaway. And I'm like, why would I want to do that? I can't even keep up right now. Like, I don't want to.
I can't even once I'm selling. Let's make another one to give away.
Yeah. Well, I've actually had that a couple times. Like, not that I don't enjoy it and stuff, but there's this different feeling of like giving a pack away. So I sponsored like the Morin 166. It was a gravel race on the east side that Bear Claw put on. He's like, hey, you want to be a sponsor? And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to give you any money. I don't have any, but I can like throw in 3 packs, you know? So I like kind of went into detail on like 3 of the packs and like hooked them up, and it kind of bums me out. Like, I haven't seen those packs ever again. Like, they went to the winners, these, you know, however he gave them out. I'm like, I never get to see those packs again.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's tagged them like, oh, Morrow Packs, you know.
Right.
And even in the
go ahead.
Even in the race that I just put on, like, I did 2-pack, or I did 3, and one of my buddies was like, I need that one. I was like, okay, well, now there's only 2. So I gave first women's and first men's a pack, and first men's, and I was like, listen, you have to just use this, okay? Like, I know you're a racer and everything, and racers don't put bags on their bikes, but so he gave it to one of his buddies, but he like posted about it, and he was like, heck yeah, you know, Morrow Packs, and I'm like, hell yeah. Like, and it's on his bike, and he's going to use it. Like, that's what I want.
It's super fulfilling, like, having an idea of something and then actually making it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I have these like bottle openers that I sell on my website. Those of you guys that are listening, it's like a piece of metal that's the same size as a credit card, except for it looks like a beer can.
Yeah.
And it's a bottle opener. So, like, this was like an idea that I had from actually here years ago. I had been at an event or something like that, and somebody gave me this one, which is like, it looks like this is what metal?
Is it a bottle opener?
Yeah, that is.
Oh.
So this looks like, for those of you guys listening, it looks like a ace of spades, and there's a big spade in the middle, and the spade is actually the bottle opener. So when I got this thing, I was like, this thing is so freaking cool. Like, I just loved it.
Too. It's tapered down at the bottom of the spades there.
Yeah, it is. So the thing that I liked about it, though, or that I didn't like about it, was when I put this thing in my wallet, if you can look at it, like, it's really thick. This thing is heavy as hell. And in my mind, I was like, man, that would be cool to make one that's like way thinner, that you could, because I liked having it in my wallet too, because it's like, maybe you don't always have your keys with you, but you always have your wallet, right? So it's like, you want to open a beer, you always got a bottle opener, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I made these ones. So it was like a matter of like, okay, how thin can I get this metal that it doesn't like bend? but it still will open up the bottle, and then also like put some kind of cool design on it. So I like designed this thing. I reached out to some manufacturing company in China, and I made them. And like, if you guys want to buy one, you can go to shop.biker.com, or you just go to biker.com, B1KER.com, hit the shop link. Anyways, yeah. And so like, you know, like to actually like think something up and then have it manufactured, or in your case, to make it, and then be holding this product in your hand. It was really fulfilling. It was like really cool process.
And that is nice. Like, that's what I've experienced with people that I've made their bags. When they got them, they were like, holy shit, this is cooler than it even looked. Like,
yeah.
You know, I get like pictures of the dude kissing it at work. I got it in the mail.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, this is sweet. You know, he's out of town or whatever. Yeah. So that's definitely a huge fulfillment for me is, what people, they dig it, you know, and it's not for everybody, but you don't have to buy it. Like, I'm not pushing anything. And I just want to kind of like release like that water behind that wall, but it just like happened, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So are you doing this? Like, are you making like one a day or one every week, or how often are
I haven't done anything this summer, dude. I mean, I've made, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 bags this whole summer. You know, and that's for a few people that I know. Honestly, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You know how that is? Like, I had a few people reach out to me and they're like, hey, dude, I'd really love to have this bag. I'm doing a bike trip. I'm like, okay, like I'll go down and bang you a bag out because you need it, because you're going bike packing for 2 weeks or whatever. And I had actually this dude Jaron, he got a hold of me and he switched. He was going on a bike packing trip, but switched to his full suspension top fuel Trek. He's like, but I need a full frame bag for my suspension bike. I'm like, I'd love to like tackle it, but you're definitely going to be a trial run, you know, like, especially with the full suspension and all the different angles, and make sure it fits right. And, you know, and it worked, and he's been running it. He has a couple bike trips under it already. And,
so at this point though, you're coming into winter, so you're planning on like kind of taking more orders.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, like seeing where it kind of goes this winter. Yeah, because I'll be able to dedicate a lot more time to it. Another thing is my daughter Charlotte. She's 1.5 years now, and I'm been full-time dad since she was born. Mama makes all the money, so it's almost embarrassing for me to go to work. So, I dedicated like being a full-time dad to her, and that definitely.
It's a lot of work, dude. It really is. Like,
you got kids, right?
Mine are grown up now, but I remember what it was like.
Yeah,
I definitely remember that part. You know, like, there's definitely parts of having young kids that you like fades away in your memory over time. You know what I mean? But I remember it was really busy. It was really busy, and like,
I'm adapting to her, right? Like, and I have no idea what I'm doing. This is a brand new job, and the boss is always yelling at me.
Right. Screaming and yelling and crying.
I made you chicken nuggets. I got you cheesy broccoli. I got a juice pack. Like, everything you want. Not good enough.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Why? I don't know. Oh, okay. So you don't know.
Yeah. Kids are fun though, man. Honestly, like, and it's unbelievable how fast it goes by. Like, it's just I'm
trying to hold on to that too. Like, that's my other thing, right? Like, I don't want to have to come into the basement and be like, oh, everybody be quiet. I have to make it back. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ever do that.
Yeah.
Like, I've dealt with that with old bosses and timelines, and how fast can you make this patio? And we only have 4 days, but I want you to do it in 3 days, and it rained 1.5 days, and
but I can understand you wanting an outlet to like be creative, or to like something that's your own outside of being a stay-at-home dad. You know, like, plenty of women have the same thing that they do. You know what I mean? It's like anybody that's the women or man that's like a stay-at-home parent, like you still need something that's like helps you like be your identity of some sort. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too bad that that like taking care of a child and raising a kid and like trying to just do good at that isn't appreciated or recognized as much these days. Like, because everybody has kids and everybody does it, right? So it's like, wow, I know what it's like. It's like it's serious, like it's legit. I mean, it is a lot of work.
Yeah, especially if you want to do it right. I mean, like it's not a lot of work if you want to be a shitty parent. You know what I mean? You're like, here, watch more TV. You know, like
get out of here. Like, yeah, no, I mean, it is. I guess that's probably the factor of it is like you want to try to make a good impact on that person, and you like there's this crazy underlying thing like, hey, like these are going to be those ripples in life like after I'm gone, and you know, he's going to be carrying on these ideas of who I am, and you know, it's like,
I really try. Go ahead.
It's like, oh, my dad did this and my mom was this, you know, like it's crazy to think about that as a son, you know, even.
Right. Yeah, I always tried to like do whatever I was gonna do in my life just with them. Like, and so like if I wanted to go mountain biking, then I did it with them. Like it was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm buying a trailer and now I'm towing you guys. Or it was like, I want to go float the river. Well, guess what? I'm taking you guys out on the river now. You know, or it was like, if it was, let's just say if I was building a bag, it would be like, all right, well, we're making this bag together, you know, and it'd be like, and for me, that worked well for me. And I'm like, I think because I'm like ADD, like it's like, it was good for me to be kind of like scatterbrained all over the place with them. And you know what I mean? So it was the way I was working anyway. It was like, shiny ball here. Yeah, you know, like, so it was like, okay, this is working out great, you know, and like for other people, like they wouldn't like, they wouldn't attack things the same way. Like I've come to notice that in my life, like when I was younger, I thought everybody was the same way as me, you know, and when you get older, you realize that no, like people are actually very different. Like some people to do something may need like a quiet room with the door closed and like the right lighting. You know what I mean? Like, and for me, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that with the stereo blasting and some kid screaming at me. And I'm like, but like,
this is calming.
Yeah. You know, and so I guess what I was saying is like, I recognize what works for me. Maybe doesn't work for everybody else, but that was what
to recognize, because I mean, like Charlotte, she is me, but she's her mom. She's her grandma. She's my mom. Like, you know, she's all these. She's just her.
Yeah.
And she's super intense and like go. And I'm a product of change. Like my family have always moved around, and growing up, we always traveled, and I enjoy that. Like I almost thrive on change a little bit. Like, ooh, like the anxiety that my wife would get on like moving or something, where to me it excites me, for her it makes her nervous.
Yeah, that sounds like me and my lady. Totally.
Yeah, and it's like it is nerve wracking, but it's exciting too. You know, like ooh, like going off the drop on my mountain bike, like.
Yeah, no, I can 100% relate with you. I don't remember the exact number, but I remember somewhere in high school, like I had counted how many homes I lived in, and it was like over 30. You know, like we moved a lot, and like my lady, she lived in the same place her whole life. You know, like
that was mine,
and for me, like I actually like I almost even get an itch where I'm like, oh, we've been here too long. You know, like I'm ready to like let's go somewhere else. I want to make a new room and build. You know, I'll do all these projects all over again somewhere else.
Yeah,
you know, like,
let's do it.
yeah, and she's definitely always like, well, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know.
What you're saying makes sense, but
yeah, like if it was up to me right now, I would sell everything that we have, buy a van, and just drive around the country, like doing whatever the hell I wanted to for a while.
I think
And she's
I
like,
was talking that last. You were talking about van life.
yeah. And she's like, no, we need to have a house. I'm like, why? We don't need a house. She's like, no, that's not the way this works. I'm like, it'll be fine. She's like,
Evolution. This is evolution.
Yeah.
Why we have these things.
well, and the thing is, like, at one point in my life, like, I had to go through a bankruptcy. Like basically when I got divorced, I like started over. And all that did was like made me realize, like, oh wow, I can have zero and get back to where I am again. So like I have zero fear of selling every fucking thing we have, giving it up, and then like when I run out of money, being like, okay, now we start over. You know, like,
Right. Like it can be done.
yeah. So like I think if it wasn't for that experience in my life, that I wouldn't feel that way. Like I would feel more like, no, I need to have this security of this and this. And I would definitely say I felt that way before that. But now it's like, I'm like, dude, I found out what it was like to go from having everything to having nothing. And
Back and forth.
within like a year or two, like it was like my life wasn't any different. You know, I went from, you know, not having any furniture or even a mattress for my bed. It was like I had an air mattress, you know, and then like a year later, I'm like, oh, I own a home, you know, like it's like, okay, well, you can do it. It's just up to you. It's 100% like what amount of work that you're willing to put in. And if you're,
and how lucky you get finding the right one.
Yeah, maybe, right? You know, like I don't know, man. I mean, luck, you could say it has something to do with it, but I really feel like if you put your effort and your everything that you have into something, like your passion, you'll be successful every time. I feel like
you, right? Like just be you. Like be a good person, do what you set out to do every day, and
I feel like if you chase
life stuff, but
if you chase your passion though, and you like really give it everything you have, you'll be successful. And maybe it won't be the success that you like thought of when you started, but you'll be successful. You know,
the feeling of success is so much better than like, look, I made, 400 bucks a day. All right. Because you're just gonna blow it at the bar and then it's gone and you're gonna feel depressed.
Yeah, totally. I am.
Well, it's like what you're doing, dude. Like, I appreciate this. This is huge. Like, it's my first podcast. Like,
dude.
I mean,
you're fucking famous now, man.
Oh, I'm super. But it is like listen. I mean, we're just sitting here talking, and maybe 3 of my buddies might watch a quarter of it or whatever. But like for me, it means something, and because it's this community that I love being a part of. Like I keep talking about it, and everybody else does about cycling and biking, but it's a thing. Like I almost wonder sometimes, like, is the whole world a biking community, or is it just this little world that I've created for myself? And I'm pretty sure it's like this little world that I've created for myself, where I'm like, every time I look this way or that way, and this way and up and down, cycling or friends or family and all this stuff, it's all has to do with cycling. And I love
How'd you get into cycling?
My buddy Justin Hoffmeyer.
How old were you?
This was 2016.
So not too long ago then, huh?
Yeah. So what is that? Yeah. 4, 5, 6 years ago.
I'm not good at math, so it sounds.
I bought a Marlin 5, dude, like a Trek Marlin 5. I live downstate Michigan. We were thinking about moving up here. My buddy invited me up to go to Copper Harbor. So he's like, get a bike.
So for people that don't know, Copper Harbor is a lift access place in Michigan, right?
They do van shuttles.
Van shuttles, okay, yeah.
Yep, they do van shuttles up Brockway Mountain, and it's pretty aggressive stuff. I bought a $500 hardtail Trek Marlin 5 with mechanical brakes, 29er. I was like, 29er, we're good.
You're like, $500. This is expensive. This is the bike.
Oh yeah, dude. I had to call once to the wife, and I was like, can we?
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
know. I know we don't know, but
Right.
should we?
Yeah. Now you got a $200 strider behind you hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
So anyways, your buddy talks to you, he's like, hey, let's go up here to Copper Harbor. We're
yeah,
gonna ride some
Copper
bikes.
Harbor, and I like went up there and I had a helmet and I had my bike and I bombed the trails with these dudes and he's like, "How are you keeping up with this?" And I was like, "I thought that's what I was supposed to do." And
You're
I have
all, where's the brakes?
yeah, I have a dirt biking background and stuff like that, and rode a bunch out in Arizona. I used to live in Lake Havasu for like 15 years of my life, actually.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
That place is pretty
so
rad.
yeah, it's pretty wild. I don't live there anymore for a good reason.
Yeah. Right.
I wanted a family and whatnot.
Right.
No offense
Yeah.
to the Havasuians.
Yeah.
Uh,
You wanted a
but
family.
yeah, so yeah, he got me into it, and then
So you did
that
this trip and you were just like, I'm in love.
bikes are cool. Bikes are cool, right? So then I didn't have the fitness at all to do like actual cycling, like biking up a hill and going down it. Um,
Yeah.
I lived downstate Michigan. And it was super flat, and I was like, I did 7 miles today and like 182 feet of climbing.
Right.
Woo, and thought that was cool, and it still is. Because it is a hard job to cycle or bike for a long time. Like it's hard work.
Yeah.
You're constantly panting. You're constantly sweating. You're having a hard time communicating to your buddy and stuff like that back and forth. But um, it's still fun. And then we moved up to Marquette, which Marquette, in my opinion, is like the mountain bike mecca of Michigan. Um, Northern's up there, ton of amazing trails. There was a single track that I could jump on 2 miles from where we lived up there. And
Mhm.
I rode my Marlin 5 for a while there for like a year. And then I bought a Superfly full suspension from my buddy Justin that he hooked me up with a really good price. And then I started like demolishing my personal records on Strava on some of the trails. And I was like, actually went after it. And I was like, started feeling faster and having more fun on the bike and hitting jumps.
Mhm.
And then it just progressed from there. And um, like
That's rad, man.
yeah, it's been super fun. I mean, the ability, I started building trails in our town here like 2 years ago because we moved down to Iron Mountain from Marquette. We're like an hour and a half south, and I was going to have it. Like there was no trails here. So I'm like, I'm not going to drive back to Marquette and have to just leave town to ride there. So
Right.
I hooked up with a trail organization here that was brand new, and I kind of got a couple trails going up on the city property and flow trails like gravity. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really into. And so me and my brother-in-law started building those, and that was my encounter with like a trail network and politics and all that crap, which was tough, very tough to like
Yeah.
navigate.
That
Um,
sucks.
but ultimately we all made trails,
Yeah.
that we wanted.
Building's pretty
Like,
fun though. Building, it's like the building part is really fun. And like
best shape I've ever been in, 2019, building trails and biking.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I got some like really good fitness in last year from building just because like where I was building at, I had to ride to and the climb was super tough and
You don't bring
uh
adequate calories and
yeah. And it was just like between that and then it's like so you ride like in that particular spot, it was like 1,500 feet of climbing to get there. Then we build for like 5-6 hours, and then still have to ride back. And you're like, wow, dude, I like putting some
legit
serious
day.
work in, And but the thing that's really cool is like after the fact is like when you see people like riding it or like if you make a Strava segment and you're like looking at the times you're like, what the fuck, dude? How are they like getting that time? And like it's just rad to see like people enjoying that. Like what I was telling my lady is like, dude, I could be gone for like 30 years and that trail just like could still be there, like hundreds and thousands of people having fun on that.
Yeah.
Because I like took a couple of months of my life out and like spent some extra hours on it, Like that's really rad. That's really
Very
rad.
cool.
You
That's very
know,
cool.
like I always used to joke when it was some of my friends that I would never like leave any print in the history books. It would always just be like a smear, you know? And
Right.
and I feel like, you know, maybe some of these trails that I can work on, like that'll be my spear, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe it's that, maybe it's this YouTube channel. Who knows, you know,
No, it's
someday.
all of it, man. It's all of it.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. You know, like, I don't know, at least for me, like I always feel like the impact that I want to have on the world is further than the people that are friends with me.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe for some people that's fine. That's enough. You know, and for me it's just like I always want to like I'm not trying to be like president or something like that, you know. I just want to like impact as many people as I can in a positive way.
And
You
positive.
know? Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Totally. And let them know
And
that like it's real. Like that's what I love about this stuff is that it's real. Like me and you having a conversation, it's a real
yeah.
conversation. This isn't scripted and crap like that. Like,
Mhm.
and that's why I hate that like the term influencer
Yeah.
feels like diluted big
Yeah.
time because if somebody asks me and I even sometimes think of it like, do they think that I put these little like I'll do little video snippets and I'll like edit it through Splice or something to like showcase my bike or the bags, and it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, this sound and this and that. It's like, oh, is he looking for attention? And I'm like, and I question that a lot. I'm like, am I looking for attention? Like, look at me, look what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, like I really like what I'm doing and I want to share it. Like,
Yeah.
I think this
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah.
So here it is, whether you like it or not, like,
Yeah.
and if you do, right on. If you don't, that's fine too. Like,
Yeah.
but
Some
it
of that
does,
stuff is just creativity as well, you know.
yeah,
Like making those edits, it's just like it's like scratching that creative itch that you have, you know.
right. Yeah. It's seeing something that you want to see or yeah, it's cool. But yeah, that was elaborating on your just trying to promote a positive energy. Like
Yeah.
it's cycling
Uh,
for me. Like I just can't say it enough. And
I,
everybody that I've met in the cycling world, like in this area, and even you, I mean, this has brought us to hanging out and having some beers
yeah.
and bullshitting about super fun stuff.
Yeah, no, it's super rad, you know. It's like I didn't know when I started riding a bike as a little kid that this would be like my life.
I'm a 4-year-old dude drinking a beer on a podcast.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like honestly, you know, like I remember I was in kindergarten when my dad taught me how to ride bike. I remember him like walking me around the yard, and I remember like I grew up back east, so there's like alleyways in town, you know, and stuff like that. And I remember like walking me about around the backyard, like a couple circles, and then I remember going out to the alleyway and him give me a couple of runs next to me and it gave me the shove off, and it was like I was riding bike. And you know, it was like I remember that moment of like realizing that, oh my God, he's not actually holding me anymore. You know what I mean? And then it was this like
Freedom.
this feeling of like freedom or adventure or like this accomplishment that maybe in my life, maybe that was the first like real accomplishment that I had. I don't know. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize that that would be something that would like be part of my entire life, you know. And from there it was like lots of skin knees and you know whatever growing up, and later being into BMX and like riding around town and smoking pot with my friends and doing kickouts on all the trash cans and like doing
Right.
stupid teenager shit, you know. But it
But
was
it got
still
here, huh?
bikes. It was like that's what we did. We got off school, we went rode bikes, go over here, hit this jump, go over here, do this, like whatever it was. And then later it was like some guy that my mom was dating like got me into mountain biking, and then it was like that, and then now here I am like doing a mountain bike podcast, doing a mountain bike YouTube channel, influencing, like, I've had hundreds of people tell me, like, dude, you're the one that got me riding bike because of your weight loss video or whatever. It's like, I didn't even know I was going to be like, I didn't set out to like get people to do this. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like,
Just believe in it, and it's part of your life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, and what you're saying is like, you really enjoy the community. And like, for me, I think that was, it's just, I didn't realize it, but growing up, like, I was a biker, and as an adult, I am one. And I'm definitely like one of those people that, you know, maybe when I die, my kids are like, what are we gonna do with all these damn bikes now? You know, like they ride a little, but they don't ride like I do. You know what I mean? Like, this is my passion. And
Right.
I never realized that until, you know, probably more recently, like, wow, this is really what defines me, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I wonder how long, like, I sometimes wonder, like, is it going to last forever, or is this what my thing is? Like, because there's dudes our age that are like, and we have our friends, right? Like, I
yeah,
have a friend that's super into hot rods. And I'm
yeah,
like, same fucking thing.
yeah,
Like, same thing, dude. But he's like, I can't ride, you know, this long and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I can't drive your car, you know,
right,
down a straight line on a quarter mile. Like, same thing,
yeah,
dude. Yeah.
yeah. I can tune an axis derailleur. I can't freaking fix my truck, you know, like,
Right. Yeah.
you know, like,
Exactly.
yeah.
And then
Freaking-
let's not forget old John that linked us up, Beard5 on Instagram. I was going to try to get him here, but my daughter's a little bit sick and I didn't want to have extra company at the house. But he's the one that contacted you to have me on your podcast.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like, you know, that's a good thing to mention here before we wrap it up, is that it's a lot of work to try to find guests and like get people together on the show. So like, if any of you that are listening, you have a good idea, like, send it to me, and maybe it works out. And because that's basically what happened here. Somebody hit me up on Instagram. They said, hey, I got this buddy. He's running this business that he started, and he makes these packs. He's a super cool guy, likes to ride bikes. I think it'd be an interesting show. And for whatever reason, there was something that, yeah, it worked out, and here we are. So like, definitely, you know, if you guys have an idea, or you have a friend, or you have even just like, hey, I think it would be really cool to see a show about this, let me know. Or I've had a few people tell me like, oh, this YouTuber that I know, like, even though like I know a lot of the mountain bike YouTubers, every day I'll run into a channel that's like, how did I not know this guy? He has 50,000 subscribers. I've never heard of him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's booming quick. Like, because I spent my winters, living through like BKXC and Skills with Phil, like all last winter, you know, like those were the guys. And all of a sudden they were like, I can do that too. And I can build jumps and I can hit jumps, and it'll be phases, you know, you'll just get cycled through it. But the more the better.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you having me, dude, and super cool.
Yeah. Well, super fun having you on the show. I don't know if you watched any of the biker bars in the past, but right before wrap it up, I usually like to ask people what YouTube channels that you watch. YouTube normally, or no?
Yeah, YouTube's huge.
Yeah,
love it.
So what YouTube channels do you like to watch? And it doesn't necessarily need to be mountain bike related. I always ask because I think it's fun to hear like what people like, and sometimes I've found out about some channels that I would have never thought of, and they've been super fun. So what are you into?
So I'm into this like gravel scene. So I'll literally, I love watching the Impossible Route.
Okay.
That's Jeremiah Bishop, and the vegan cyclists have been putting on these Impossible routes, and they ride their gravel bikes like forever. I mean, 1,000-mile from Mexico up to like Las Vegas area on some the Baja routes and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
They did one in Hawaii, up some volcano. Yeah.
So what's the name of the channel? It's called The Impossible Route?
then I think it's the vegan cyclist.
Okay.
Yeah, his name is Tyler, but he's been editing them and like putting these films together, short films. They're like 20 minutes, 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's like at the end of the night, if I'm just chilling out, I'm like, honestly, it's weird, but I
Yeah.
really put on like gravel race videos, and like
Yeah.
Wahoo has a few that are really cool, that are like short films. I think it's called like Storytellers or something. No, it's not Storytellers, something else. But Wahoo has a couple, just gravel. Like they're a little bit chill, and
That's super cool, man.
yeah. But
Sounds
the
like
Impossible route, those are cool.
Yeah, sounds fun, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming out here and hanging out, drinking some beers with me on a Sunday
Yeah, dude.
night.
It's a lot. It's B1KER Bar. We gotta have
It was,
some.
it was definitely a good time. For those of you guys that have been like hung out here till the end, man, I really appreciate all of you just as much as I appreciate having this guest on here, having you guys join me on this podcast and being part of this YouTube journey with me. I really do appreciate it. Recently, I went out over to Sea Otter, and while I was at that event, there was a lot of people that came up to me that recognized me from the podcast and not from my regular, like, I guess you would say POV channel on called B1KER. So the podcast is definitely growing, and the way it keeps growing is by you guys like telling your friends. So like share the podcast, tell your buddy that's into bikes, like, hey, you want to listen to something cool? Check this guy out. And the more that happens, the more this grows. And hopefully between the two channels, I can get them to grow enough. I can go tell my job to like, see you later, bitches. And that'd be pretty fun. So if you want to really help me out, step that up a little bit more. Like I said earlier, swing by my Patreon. If you guys want to do something else, like just get some cool swag or merch or whatever you want to call it. I got t-shirts.
Beer cap, the beard topper.
Dude, I'll send you one, man. I'll definitely send you one. So no, you don't even have to pay.
Everybody else.
Everybody else, they have to pay. But
Yeah.
yeah, swing by the B1KER website, B1KER.com. You can check out the shop over there. There's t-shirts. I got some koozies, some slap koozies. Those are pretty popular. Gave away like 100 of them at Sea Otter. If you were there and you bumped into me, you're welcome. And like I said at the beginning, if you guys have not followed me on Instagram or the Facebook page, please do that, because it really makes me feel good about myself when I see those numbers grow. I feel like I'm doing something right. So outside of all of that, I do want you guys to remember one thing. It only takes a bike to be a biker. Get out and be one.